So one of the fastest ways to lose a deal is to assume that your prospect's buying process is simple. As a sales rep, you think it's demo, proposal, approval, but inside their company, it's actually demo, internal alignment, security review, legal, procurement, finance, and then finally sign off. And if you don't know that, your 2-week deal quietly becomes a 6-month one, and you wonder why it's not closing. Because some deals don't slip because of a lack of interest. They slip because you never uncovered their decision process. And what you thought was a deal that it should only take 2 weeks actually takes more like 6 months, because their process is simply longer than what you expected. So this week we're continuing our breakdown of the MEDDIC sales process, and we're moving to the second D, which is decision process. And this is where the best sellers separate themselves from everyone else. They don't just understand what the buyer cares about, they actually understand how the buyer buys. So when it comes to selling, every organization has a unique, sometimes messy, internal process for making purchasing decisions. Some have multiple stakeholders, some have compliance steps, some need budget meetings, finance approvals, or procurement cycles. You can have the perfect champion and the right economic buyer, but if you don't understand the sequence, the timing, and the people involved in their purchasing process, the deal is at risk. The decision process helps you uncover how decisions are made, who's involved at each step, what approvals are required, when each stage typically happens, and where deals usually get stuck internally. And the top reps don't guess. They map out the process with precision, so nothing catches them off guard. So let's run a hypothetical scenario. You're selling a workflow automation platform to a mid-market company, and your champion says something like, "We love this, send over the proposal and we'll take it from there." Most reps would send the proposal and leave it with them, but the best reps know that this is the danger zone. So you ask, "Just so I can support you properly, once you have that proposal, what happens next?" Your champion will reply something like, "We'll review it internally and then it goes to our CTO for security approval." That's really good information to have, because now you know there's a technical security gatekeeper. And then you ask, and after the CTO signs off, they might say something like, "Then procurement gets involved," which can take a couple of weeks depending on workload. So now you've also uncovered a timing risk. And then finally, who gives the final approval? They might say something like, "Our CFO, she would like to see ROI in contract terms." So now you've mapped the entire process in the organization. And more importantly, you've actually identified where you need to prepare. So security info for the CTO, procurement documentation, and an ROI summary for the CFO. And now you're no longer reacting, you're actually orchestrating the deal. So here are 5 high-impact discovery questions you can use to uncover the decision process in any deal. 1. Once we finish today's meeting, what are the next steps for your internal process? 2. Who else needs involvement before the final decision is made? 3. What approvals are needed from legal, security, procurement, or finance? 4. How long does each step usually take based on past purchases? And 5, are there any deadlines, cycles, or budget windows we should be aware of? It's these questions that give you visibility into timing, politics, roadblocks, and key players, all before they happen. So the biggest insight is this: mastering the decision process lets you control the timeline instead of sitting there hoping for updates. You stop being reactive and you stop being surprised, and you stop having the deal slip to next quarter. When you know who needs to approve, what they need to see, and how long each stage takes, you can guide that deal with confidence. So this is part 4 of our MEDDIC breakdown. You've learned metrics, the economic buyer, decision criteria, and now decision process. Next week, we'll move to the I, identifying pain, which are the emotional and operational drivers that spark real urgency inside your prospect's world. So if you want to close deals smarter and more predictably, hit subscribe and we'll keep sharpening those qualification skills. Cheers.